$2.4 billion is a lot of money. That is a lot of dollar bills. I mean, that's got to be equal to like hundreds of homes. So we're talking hundreds of homes destroyed, like untold vehicles, cars, lorries, all that kind of stuff. And you just got areas like this. Do they ever fully recover? Like, even if you rebuild the houses and all of that stuff, the memory of something like this happening. Jeez.
This was Alabama's 9/11.
Ryan Chandler and Nate Hewitt hopped in a car with one goal in mind: to witness a tornado's fury in person. Throughout the ride, they'd been blasting ABC 3340's continuous coverage of the historic tornado outbreak unfolding across Alabama. They had been hearing constant warnings blaring through the speakers.
Stop now. At the next exit, the next convenience store, go into a business that will let you in. If you know anybody that maybe doesn't have electricity and cannot watch us or listen to us, make a call.
Mate, so everybody's telling them to stop, pull over, go inside somewhere, but these guys are like, nope, we are chasing.
But no one was going to stop the duo's bucket list quest to storm chase a tornado. The reason wasn't exactly duty-driven, like trying to warn people in advance or help out with rescue efforts. Nate Hewitt was driven by the frustrating fact that despite growing up in Alabama, a place famous for its tornadoes, he had never witnessed one firsthand.
Wow.
Such an odd obsession. But
pure curiosity.
Who are we to judge?
Yeah, this is true.
Moments later, the two got their wish and unexpectedly recorded what would then be one of the most viral videos of close tornado encounters.
Tuscaloosa, I've heard of this one.
As they were driving alongside Interstate 359's freeway, they came face to face with a massive tornado. Debris swirled. Horizontal vortices, or the spiraling tubes that only form in the strongest tornadoes, were spinning off in every direction. All of a sudden, they realized they were in the direct path of the very tornado they'd been chasing. The scenario instantly shifted.
Wow, look how dark it is on this side.
From a thrilling bucket list adventure to a fight for survival.
We need to go that way. No, God damn it, go back.
We're fine.
Chandler, go the back. I'm not kidding.
Hell
no
no.
Time to turn the car around, they slammed the pedal in reverse, speeding backward down the freeway as the monstrous tornado scarred its path. What the two didn't realize at the time was that they were also recording the very moment the tornado claimed its first fatality.
Oh shit.
On that same stretch of Interstate 359, 73-year-old Minnie Acklin, who was trapped in her car, was toppled and catapulted by the violent tornado.
Oh my god.
She was the first of 65 people who would lose their lives to the EF4 tornado in Tuscaloosa. An event so devastating that veteran meteorologist James Spann would later say that
this is what it looked like. This was Alabama's 9/11.
Dude, that house that he had in the photo, it looked like it had been blown apart by like a bomb. Just tiny pieces left.
The Tuscaloosa Birmingham tornado was not a no one expected this to happen kind of disaster. As early as 3:45 a.m. on April 27, 2011, all the signs were already pointing to what was coming. Pickens and Lamar counties were already under tornado warnings. Multiple circulations were popping up on radar. In places like Cahaba Heights, Cordova, and Coleman were already seeing widespread damage from smaller tornadoes. ABC 3340 was on the air for over 5 hours straight, covering that brutal first round of storms before the sun was even up. 5 people were killed in that early wave, and about 250,000 people were left without power. The worst fears meteorologists had been warning about the day before were already starting to come true.
At least this time, the meteorologists were telling people in advance, because there was another tornado, I think it was Plainsfield, where they got no warning. So at least the people here managed to get to the tornado shelters, get to the basement, make all the precautions.
The Storm Prediction Center has placed Alabama in a high risk of severe weather today.
And it was all happening before most people were even awake.
Jeez.
By
So
midday,
early morning.
things got quiet. But this was quite literally the calm before the storm. At 2 p.m., ABC 3340 was live again. Right off the bat, there was no good news in sight. The broadcast started off intense. James Spann, the station's chief meteorologist, immediately delivered urgent, almost frantic warnings about where to go, what to avoid, and what was coming next. Supercells were forming all over the place.
Jeez.
Tornadoes were starting to spawn from every direction. He did everything he could to convey just how serious the situation was becoming.
So again, the next call to action, if you are north or east of downtown Coleman, you need to be in a safe place. Clearly, everybody in downtown Coleman has to be in a safe place right now.
Understandably so. Because it didn't take long for the coverage to shift from constant tornado warnings to actual videos of violent debris-filled tornadoes.
Shit. And if you get hit with one of those bits of debris, that could be it. That could be it.
Dozens of different tornado clips started pouring in, straight from storm chasers and skywatchers out in the field. Later on, the National Weather Service could confirm the official count. 62 tornadoes spawned across Alabama that day.
Jeez.
Most were EF3s, and 3 reached EF5 strength. The Tuscaloosa tornado, which would later cross Interstate 359, destroyed entire neighborhoods, caused $2.4 billion in damages, and killed 65 people, was one of 8 EF4s that also tore through the state. At around 4:30 p.m., ABC 3340 received another tornado sighting report.
Spotters reporting a large wedge tornado on the ground in northeastern Kemper County. And again, that's this one right here that is coming up into far northern Sumter. And again, that one's going to want to move in this direction. So I'm just telling you, if this stays on that same track, that's going to wind up in Tuscaloosa.
After being narrowly spared earlier by nearby EF4 and EF3 tornadoes, Tuscaloosa was now about to take a direct hit from a newly formed twister.
Oh my God, they barely had a chance to recover from the last one, and then bam, they're about to get hit again.
This particular tornado first touched down in Greene County. And based on how most tornadoes that day were tracking, moving from southwest to northeast, there was no question that this one was going straight for Tuscaloosa. At first, the funnel only took down trees and damaged an old warehouse.
Oh my
Destruction
God.
more fitting of a weaker EF2 tornado. But when it was minutes away from Tuscaloosa itself, that's when things got life-threateningly serious.
There's a tornado right there. God, everybody go.
Get in the house.
Holy crap.
Mike Wilhelm, who was working with ABC 3340's Skywatchers, was among the first to capture a video of the tornado as it entered Tuscaloosa. Seconds later, the Skywatcher he was with stated,
A lot of people are going to die today, and they just don't know it yet.
Jeez.
5:11 p.m.
God, imagine hearing that on the radio.
April 27th, 2011. At this point, the 1.5-mile wide tornado had just crossed Interstate 359, the same freeway Ryan Chandler and Nate Hewitt were on when they filmed their viral encounter. After taking a life and flipping cars on and below the overpass, the tornado continued barreling into its first densely populated area. Parked alongside Interstate 20, Mike Wilhelm once again captured up-close footage of the tornado hurling massive debris into the air. By this point, winds were estimated to be reaching up to 190 miles per hour.
Look at that one.
The peak intensity of the tornado's entire life cycle.
There goes that transformer.
The twister tore through major power lines, cutting off electricity to large parts of the city. This was just the beginning of the tornado's devastating rampage through Tuscaloosa. Rosedale Court, a poverty-stricken Tuscaloosa apartment community, was the tornado's next direct target. Within minutes, entire houses were flattened. Massive trees were snapped like twigs. And 5 more people, including a 15-month-old baby, lost their lives.
Oh my God.
One of the victims was a
Wow, look at this. I mean, whenever I see pictures like this, it really doesn't look like a tornado's been here. It looks like a bomb has gone off here. Do you know what I mean? Like a bomb has gone off right in the middle and just wiped out like every kind of structure within like a square kilometer radius. This is insane that this is a tornado that's done this.
15-year-old who had been sitting in a parked car outside the apartments. The tornado ripped the car apart, and his body was reportedly thrown over half a mile away by the intense winds. Later on, Ryan Chandler and Nate Hewitt would come across the horrifying aftermath at Rosedale Court. While driving through the debris-strewn streets, they would encounter a traumatized woman, desperately screaming for help.
Can I use your phone?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It just went right through.
What number you need?
It just went right through the signal.
Why? Somebody!
The police are all over the place.
The tornado continued its path from Rosedale Court toward Charleston Square, an apartment complex mostly occupied by students from University of Alabama. 3 of those students tragically lost their lives. Ashley T. Harrison and Melanie N. Nixon, both 21 years old.
Sad.
And Marcus J. Smith, who was 22.
Sad, man.
All of them were killed when the tornado tore directly through the complex.
21 and 22, man. Like kids, you know, whole life ahead of them. Super sad.
Some, like Chelsea Thrash, who was paralyzed from the waist down, suffered injuries that would take years of painful recovery.
I was thrown 150 yards just like vertically from the apartment, so I saw the apartment and it was just gone. I couldn't feel my legs. It was startling.
Thousands of people in Tuscaloosa literally felt the tornado passing over their heads, ripping the roofs off their homes and flattening entire neighborhoods. However, it's rare for someone to still have a camera rolling while hiding for their life. Yet, someone in Tuscaloosa did. Someone was brave, or maybe just stubborn enough to keep recording, even with the risk of not making it out alive. At around 5:20 p.m., Brad Lawrence, who lived in northeast Tuscaloosa, was standing in his front yard with his friend Josh. With a camera in hand, everything they saw and heard was captured on camera. Initially, they were almost unbothered by the weather. Maybe it's just another loud storm. But when they noticed debris flying closer and the roar of the tornado growing louder,
at this point, they're like, something else is going on here. This is not just another cloudy day.
They made what they possibly still consider the wisest choice of their lives. Brad and Josh sprinted to the basement and hid under whatever cushions they could find. Just a minute or two later, after all the roaring and shaking, they came back up to find their front porch gone, The trees in the yard snapped, and the roof above them just gone. As the tornado left Brad Lawrence's neighborhood, countless news sightings were reported to ABC 3340 and other stations.
Isn't that insane? Imagine like you're downstairs, everything's normal. You go upstairs or down into the basement to like, wait for the tornado to pass. You go back upstairs to where you were like a half hour ago and it's all destroyed. Like, wouldn't that be the most surreal thing ever?
Sirens echoed throughout the city, while the tornado roared closer to the heart of Tuscaloosa. But not everyone capturing videos that day was doing so from a safe distance. Some were literally standing in the direct path, unknowingly recording what could have been their last moments alive. That was exactly the case for Tom Delo. One moment, he was calmly filming the tornado from inside WTXT radio. Seconds later, he was completely surrounded by black clouds. Fortunately, the station was sturdy enough to protect him and the rest of the people inside the radio station. The WVUA news station, which had been covering the tornado live, also came face to face with the tornado itself not long after. Its live coverage was cut off due to a sudden power failure. But fortunately, the news station itself was spared.
We just all huddled underneath our news desk, and it was people that were working at the station as well as people that were just grabbed from outside in the hallway and told to come in. It was really utterly terrifying.
The tornado then made its way toward the Forest Lake neighborhood, growing stronger as it moved over the open water. It tore apart the large homes around the shoreline and shredded the nearby forest into splinters. What used to be a prestigious neighborhood, and every local's favorite peaceful escape from the city's hustle, was stripped bare, leaving nothing but shredded debris and a scarred lake within seconds. Homes, trees, and cars along 15th Street were all caught in the destruction. The pictures alone speak louder than words about just how violent and unforgiving this tornado really was. The adjacent McFarland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa's main commercial strip, also lost about a third of its businesses.
Jesus.
The entire landscape looked like...
Wow, this one here is just insane. Just like blown to smithereens.
Like it had been bombed. People who hid in gas stations walked out of barely standing walls, surrounded by nothing but rubble. By this point, everyone already knew that the tornado's damage was beyond anything they could measure. But even then, there was still one terrifying possibility that could have made things way worse than they already were.
Don't tell me that the tornado's still going at this point. Surely it's finished by now.
One of Tuscaloosa's most crucial facilities, the DCH Regional Medical Center, was dangerously close to the path of the EF4 tornado. If it gets hit, the already injured and everyone about to be would have nowhere to go. But the best anyone could do at that moment, whether it was the mayor, meteorologists, or regular people, was just hope and pray it would somehow be spared. Outside the medical center, security cameras caught trash cans flying through the air as the tornado's outer winds rolled in. Moments later, the tornado's massive, over mile-wide body brushed past the building's edge. Some windows shattered. Loose debris flew everywhere. The main power went out, leaving the center reliant on backup generators. Black clouds surrounded the hospital. But then, it was gone. Fortunately, it was not a direct hit. One piece of good news,
lucky
amid all the horror, the center was spared. The tornado kept pushing north, skirting around the University of Alabama. The main campus itself was mostly untouched, but the area around University Mall was completely demolished. Students rushed out of collapsing buildings.
Everything.
Come on,
People were
guys.
shouting in pain and fear.
Oh my God!
Every corner was a chaotic disaster. At this point in time, the tornado was already making its way through the suburbs of Tuscaloosa. Being a less densely populated area, it should have meant lower risks for casualties. But even here, the horrific twister kept taking more lives, more homes, more of everything.
God damn, man.
65% of Alberta City, already one of Tuscaloosa's poorest neighborhoods, was completely leveled.
I mean, I think right now the fatality rate must be almost 100 at this point. Because, like, it feels like 5 minutes ago it was already 65. And it's taken even more people now.
And worse, more lives were lost here.
Gosh.
2 elderly residents living in a senior home were killed instantly on impact. 5 more nursing home residents died afterward, not from injury, but from the lack of water, electricity, or adequate care. Another 10 people were killed in suburban homes when their homes were reduced to flying debris. From here, the tornado finally stepped out of Tuscaloosa. But for Birmingham, this was just the beginning of its own April 27, 2011 nightmare.
The storm right here that produced all of the damage in Tuscaloosa County coming up toward Birmingham. And again, it is a clear call to action. There it is right there.
The EF4 tornado's trajectory was clear early on. It was going to miss downtown Birmingham. At the very least, Birmingham wasn't going to get hit as devastatingly as Tuscaloosa had. It was only going to sweep through residential neighborhoods on the outskirts. But with its sheer size, violent winds, and the debris it carried from Tuscaloosa, it was still just as destructive and just as deadly.
Look at the size of it.
As a result, Pleasant Grove, a quiet suburban area, was badly damaged. Roofs were torn off. Homes were crushed. The entire neighborhood was reduced to rubble. Pratt City, another tight-knit community in Birmingham, was hit the hardest. Thousands of homes were destroyed, and power lines were knocked down, causing widespread blackouts in the metro area. Many residents living in houses without basements or safe rooms died instantly.
Oh my God.
There weren't as many videos of the tornado itself.
This must have been a fire. I mean, these cars look like they've been scorched. This doesn't just look like wind damage. So I'm guessing maybe the power lines that got downed set fire to these cars maybe. This tornado is awful. I mean, this has got to be one of the worst I've heard of in terms of the overall, $2.4 billion. I mean, yeah.
Birmingham. But the damage it left behind told the story well enough. It was still just as deadly as it had been in Tuscaloosa. Luckily, the path just narrowly missed the heart of the city. Northeast of Birmingham, the tornado finally dissipated, but not before leaving behind a clear trail of devastation. Since it touched down in Greene County and tore through Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, the tornado traveled over 80 miles, caused $2.4 billion in damages, killed 64 people, and injured over 1,500.
Jesus.
The Tuscaloosa-Birmingham tornado was officially rated an EF4 on the Enhanced Fujita scale.
No way. Surely it's got to be an EF5 after all that damage. Surely. I mean, but I suppose the wind speeds are the wind speeds. But I mean, surely just on overall damage, it's got to be up there with EF5.
That means it had estimated winds of up to 190 miles per hour. But many argued it should have been classified as an EF5.
100%.
The strongest category possible. For reference, Tuscaloosa County's only recorded EF5 tornado before this was in March 1966. That storm killed 1 person and injured over 500. This one, it killed 64 and injured more than 1,500.
Jeez, man.
But the EF rating is based on wind estimates, not destruction or casualties.
I feel like, casualties and destruction should have a big proportional factor when calculating the EF rating. Because, I mean, come on. Wind speeds aren't the things that necessarily end people, right? It's the debris, like the falling parts of houses hitting someone on the head and stuff.
EF5 starts around 200 plus mile per hour winds. This storm peaked just below that mark. But honestly, whether it was labeled EF4 or EF5, does that really matter?
No, it doesn't.
When you see entire neighborhoods wiped off the map, when you see dozens dead and thousands injured, the number doesn't change what it was. One of the worst tornadoes in US history.
Wow, what a story. That was insane. I didn't realize, because I've heard of the Tuscaloosa tornado, but I don't think I've seen a video that explained what happened like this. I mean, it was so destructive. It kept on going. Just when you thought it was done, bam, it just came back, and it came back with numerous tornadoes. It was just some of the houses, some of the towns. Like, remember that town? It was like a square, had like maybe 100 homes in there, all demolished. That was insane, man. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy the videos, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.